The news that broke prior to the draft last night had very little to do with the draft. It was the Kansas City Chiefs and their star player Tyreek Hill. A couple of weeks ago, information came out that his son, 3-year-old son, had a broken arm. Authorities called to the house, but the district attorney said no charges were going to be filed. But that changed. We said this yesterday. If there's audio, if there's video, if there's pictures, then it changes the story. Now we have audio. Here is a portion of what Tyreek Hill's fiance had to say, and this is her recording this conversation.
And now somehow this investigation got brought back up, and you're about to lose your. So now I really want you to sit and think about it, because I rode for you against that detective and the CPS people, and they said time and time again that literally kept saying, "Daddy punches me," which you do when he starts crying. What do? You make him open up his arms and you punch him in the chest. And then if he gets in trouble, you get the belt out and you do.
Okay, so what about you? What you don't do? Also, I'm just gonna take it.
No, I told him that he gets whooped. I told him that he gets whooped, but I don't use a belt, which is totally different.
You do use a belt, and that's sad. Even my mama said you use a belt.
When have I used a belt? When have you seen me use a belt? When have I used a belt?
Let's bring in Brooke Pryor. She covers the Chiefs for the Kansas City Star. How did the team respond to this, Brooke?
You know, last night Brett Beach came out. He wasn't scheduled to talk to the media, because the Chiefs didn't have a first-round pick. They traded that away. Instead, he came out and announced that they were deeply disturbed and concerned about the audio, and that Tyreek was suspended. Essentially, he didn't say the phrase suspended, but he said that Tyreek wouldn't be involved in any team activities for the foreseeable future while the Chiefs gather more information and review it. And then he said, "We will make the right decision regarding Tyreek Hill."
Are authorities reopening this case? Have we gotten any word on that?
No, we haven't heard on that. When we last spoke to DA Steve Howe in that press conference earlier this week, they didn't have enough to charge someone with a crime, but they believed one had occurred. They just couldn't prove who did it. But he said that if any new information came to light, that can obviously change things. And we know at this point that they didn't have that audio at the time of the press conference and at the time that they decided not to charge him. So you'd have to think that this does significantly change things.
TMZ reported police were called to Tyreek Hill's last night. Do we know why?
We spoke with Overland Park Police this morning, and they said that they were there to check on Crystal Espinal, the fiance who was heard in that recording. We, haven't heard if Tyreek Hill was even home at that point, but it was a brief call. They responded for about 20 minutes. She's currently pregnant with twins in all of this. So that's about what we know about that call.
What happens today with this team, this situation, Brooke?
I don't know. The team, I have to say, it was a little surprising last night that they came out and said that they need to gather more facts and review everything before making a decision. This is a team that has had a recent history with players who have domestic violence and physical violence toward women in their background. Kareem Hunt was released just 5 months ago for that video. Jovan Belcher in 2012, the murder-suicide. And now today at 2:30, they're set to introduce Frank Clark. When the Kareem Hunt video came out, it took them about 6 hours to release him. Obviously, the fact that this is going on during the draft, I think, complicates that timeline, and we don't know, how quickly they would have responded had this not been going on. But with Kareem Hunt, they waited until he was on the commissioner's exempt list, which happened later that night after the video came out, about 2 o'clock Friday afternoon. He was placed on the commissioner's exempt list, and he was released, I believe, around 8 o'clock. And, you hate to compare situations because there is no comparison. They're both awful. But the audio that we heard in this was more jarring sitting there listening to it than the video that we have seen of Kareem Hunt. And the whole situation is bad, obviously. And so I think that this is a team that has to make a decision, and it shouldn't be a difficult one.
Brooke, thank you. I appreciate your time. Brooke Pryor, beat writer for the Kansas City Chiefs for the Kansas City Star. Thank you, Brooke.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.